What's up guys? In this video, we're going to talk about a key point to consider when deploying a neural network, and that's information privacy and data protection. So let's get to it. So far, we've covered several bases for deploying a deep learning model to a web service, and then calling or interacting with that model from front-end applications like a web app, Powershell, and Bash. We're going to now take a step back and talk about how the topic of data privacy and protection fits into the conversation when we're deciding on deployment options. With our current setup, our model runs in the backend, in a web service. When we want to get a prediction from the model, we send our data over the network via HTTP from the front-end application, whatever that may be, to the web service. And if our front-end application and back-end web service aren't on the same network, then that data is going to be traveling over the internet. And actually, if you've ever tried out a deep learning or neural network demo online somewhere, this is likely how it's working too. You as a user supply some type of data through a web application or maybe even a mobile app. And that data is being sent over the internet to the company's or organization's model. Alright, so with this in mind, at a high level, understand that we need two things: a model and data. We have to bring these two things together in order to get anything useful, like a prediction. And this can be illustrated as a typical client-server relationship. With what we've seen so far, we've observed how to bring the data from the client to the model on the server. We haven't discussed how, if it's even possible, we could bring the model to the data. More on this in a bit.
Cool story, bro.
Now, with the data we've been working with in our examples, arbitrary images of cats and dogs, the fact that this data is being sent over the network or over the internet to reach our model really isn't that concerning. I mean, it's not sensitive data. But what if it was sensitive data? Then what? What if instead of sending cat and dog image data to our model, users were sending personally identifiable data, or healthcare data, or financial data, for example? Well, then we need to be more careful. We can't be careless when handling sensitive data, you know? For this, we need to put in the effort and the research to understand how to handle and protect the specific type of data we're working with when sending or receiving it over the internet. There's several laws and regulations differing by data type and differing by country for what types of protocols should be followed to handle sensitive data. So while it's a lot to take in, this is a serious consideration. Alright, so remember, to do anything, we have to bring the data and the model together. And we know all about how to bring the data to the model, and that's where all this data privacy discussion comes into play. But what about the other way around? Bringing the model to the data. What if, rather than having data travel over the network or over the internet to reach a model, wherever that model may be, the data instead stays local to the front-end application and the model is sent to run within that front-end app? So think about when we use the front-end web application running in the browser on the user's local machine to send images of cats and dogs to the model running in the back-end web service. With the alternative I'm talking about now, the data would not leave the client application, but instead, the model would be sent to the client and would run right inside the browser too. So the data could be directly passed to the model within the browser, never needing to travel anywhere. Well, turns out we can do just that. And get excited because we're going to do that together in another series using TensorFlow.js, TensorFlow's new JavaScript API. Lots more to cover on that, so be sure to check it out. Let me know in the comments if these discussions around information privacy and data protection affect your plans for deployment, and I'll see you in the next video.